This weekend in ESO, I mean MMO, I mean ESO, I'm not really sure. Brought to you by Elder Scrolls Online. Hey gang, if you have not pre-ordered Elder Scrolls Online, make sure to hurry up and head on over to offergb.com/ESO. We've got a coupon code there to save 20% off on your pre-order, which is a huge savings. And that code may be going away very, very soon. I believe it's only good for another 3 days. So head on over to offergb.com/ESO.
Gamebreaker TV.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to This Week in MMO 179 for March 7th, 2014. You're watching Gamebreaker. I'm Gary Gannon. Coming up on today, myself, Mr. Byrne, we're basically going to talk about Elder Scrolls Online, Mr. Byrne. Imagine that.
Oh, yeah.
Literally,
Oh, yeah.
basically nothing else. So don't be mad. Don't be mad. It's heating up. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. So
It's days away. Days, Gary. Days. Not
now
months, not
days.
years. Days.
Days. We are at days. You were just saying that in pre-show. You were like, remember it was like
Yep.
months and a year, and now it's days
I
away.
know.
So it is.
23.
All right. Before we get into the show here today, I do want to let you guys know that if you guys have not heard, Gamebreaker is in a little bit of financial straits, and we are asking the community for your help. Mike Burns' dog is incredibly saddened by this. I hear her whimpering.
I don't even know
just-
how you can hear her still. She's...
Oh my God. We could all hear it. It's like, she's incredibly sad. No, but in all seriousness, so we are we're looking to raise $100,000. We're about a quarter of the way there. I haven't looked at the numbers yet today, but we're at about 25,000, I believe. I'm going to do a video update as well. But if you've ever liked any of the content that we've created over the past 5 years, we've never asked the community for anything. I shouldn't say that. We talked about donations earlier on, so I take that back a little bit. We did accept donations. But you know, we've been not charging for content for over 5 years. We've hit a little bump in the road financially, nothing we can't get over, I believe. The community has really rallied around and started helping us. We started this a few days ago, and we're already off to a great start, but we're not through. We're not through here yet. We still got a little bit of ways to go. This is 18.5, by the way. I said 25 because some people are opting in. They paying. They're donating through PayPal, which doesn't get reflected on this. So we're doing daily updates to keep you guys in the loop on how much is fully being donated. So that number is a little higher than that. It's like a little bit closer to 25,000, which is amazing. And thank you for everybody out there who's donated. It's truly been. It's been an incredibly insane week here at Gamebreaker as far as stress levels and just things going on and craziness. But yes, the community has really rallied around us, and thank you. And we've got some more cool stuff coming to talk about with this. But again, if we've ever created any content that you've liked over the years, anything we've ever done, made you laugh, made you angry, but you just enjoy what we do, please consider a donation to help us get through this tough time. It absolutely, I believe we're going to get there. The community's just been amazing. So you can go to gofundme.com/gamebreaker. That is where you can donate through GoFundMe. If you do want to use PayPal, go to gamebreaker.tv/donate. There's links on that page to both. There's a little video here. Like I said, we're doing updates and all that good stuff as well. So thank you. That's GoFundMe.com/Gamebreaker. Please help us get to our goal. We love what we do here at Gamebreaker. We don't want us to have to shut the doors. We want to keep going, and we're going to weather this storm. So with that being said, Mr. Byrne, let's talk about some Elder Scrolls Online. Big ass MMO coming up, like you said, days away. And wow, like really pretty close to release. ZeniMax are doing some pretty big changes. They're listening to the community, and there's some pretty, so they're doing some things that I don't think anyone really expected. A
We
lot of
certainly
the
didn't when we talked about it a few weeks ago.
so when they picked up that end, they lifted that NDA and people started posting videos. One of the big uh, gripes, complaints, whatever you want to call it, was the tutorial and the starting area and the islands.
Yep.
And people, a lot of people just sort of felt, it just feels a little confined. It doesn't really feel Elder Scrollsy. I want to have that open world feel of exploration. It just feels a little odd. I agreed with it. I agreed with that. It felt odd.
Yep.
And it looks like they've listened. And now a lot of these changes that they're doing, though, have not been reflected to the public beta tests yet, but they have been on the PTS, which I have been, and I hope this confirmation is 1000% correct, allowed to talk about the fact that I am in the PTS, and I have actually...
That NDA fell on Friday. You're
good. All right. Okay. I've been a little out of the loop following, updates and NDAs. So
you got a lot going on.
I've got about 4 or 5 people telling me it's okay to talk about it. Yeah. I'm in the PTS, so I've gotten to actually play and try some of these new changes. Let's talk about one. Let's talk about the island for a quick second. Was that a really big point for you?
Yeah, and when we did the first This Week in ESO a few weeks back, you and I, it was one of the obviously big topics we talked about, and the word we saw all over the internet, right, was generic. Mm-hmm. This doesn't feel like Elder Scrolls. It feels confined. It's just, I'm being led around the island. Why do I have to do this? It just feels boring. This isn't going to capture anybody's attention and make them pay a sub. So this was hugely important to address this issue in some way. Obviously, they weren't going to revamp everything. There just isn't time for that. But they had to do something about it. And this is a nice second option, what they decided to do.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Now, I'm a little ignorant here on my part, but have they confirmed that it's absolutely going away and you're going to be able to skip it? Or is it that they're testing? Because as far as I understood it, last I had heard, about a week ago, they were testing this on the PTS to see what we all thought of it. But it wasn't a confirmation that, hey, this is absolutely the right move. They made the change. So you went through the initial prison scenario, and then boom, you're on the main island. Do we have confirmation
you're at your main city? It hasn't really been confirmed for release yet, but I don't see them going back on this now, especially with the overwhelming support that this particular change has gotten. They haven't just put the skip button in there, though, for you. They've also, if you want to go back and do it, they've revamped the quests a little bit so that there's a few more epic moments. Again, something big you and I talked about that Guild Wars 2 did nicely, even though, you knew it was going to be easy. You're only level 3, for God's sake. But it felt epic. They're including a bit more of that, and they're also speeding up that beginning leveling sequence. So it doesn't take so long to get from 0 to 10, and then it hits the normal experience curve from 10 to 50. So they've made not just this option to skip it, but if you want to go back and help these people on the island, which I'm going to, they've made it less boring, if you will. Boring being a bad word, but whatever.
So it's really weird in my experience. So when I got to jump in there and actually do this and start, when I saw this hit the PTS, I immediately rolled a new character, went through this. Got through the, blazed through the prison thing really fast because you can just click through that as fast as possible, get to the main city. There's one or two things that obviously they need to tweak. I think a lot of people can understand, there's still, obviously if they go with this model, they're going to change, they've got to adjust the story just a little bit of talking to the prophet and things like that and where you actually end up.
That's kind of the genius of this, isn't it?
That's easy to fix.
Those two starting islands had almost no real impact on the story itself, besides the quest to start you, and then hit the prophet at the end, go to the next island and start it, hit it at the end. So it's you think, man, they're gonna skip all that story and all that content. Well, not really. A little bit of extra quest dialogue fixes this and catches you back up to speed.
I gotta say, what's really interesting is that when I got to the main island, it definitely had a little bit more of an open feel. I kind of felt like, I can kind of go where I want to go. But I gotta say, you know what? There's some really great content on those islands. I almost missed it. I was like, it's not bad content. It's actually I loved, the treasure hunt and some of the story. It's really good content. And I actually hope they'll don't forget, hey, for you completionists, people are watching this show. You guys are going to do everything. So I'm sure,
exactly.
I think the majority of people won't go back because they'll feel like it's going backwards, and no gamer wants to go backwards. But I think this crowd will go. But don't forget, aren't there like 2 sky shards on every island? I think most people watching this show know that that's important, and you're gonna go do it. So. Yep. I don't know. I felt indifferent. I didn't mind. I understand why people felt the confinement, and I even said, like, I don't know why I feel like I'm on a starter island I feel like I was still in the NPE, the new player experience, but I wasn't learning anything. And I get that, and I felt that as well. But I gotta say, when I didn't have that content, I was like, wow, that content was actually really good. Like, it was a lot of fun. Like, they wrote some good stuff, and I had fun on those islands. It was the little
right, but this is a good decision overall.
I wish, but I guess what I'm saying is I almost wish they could have put that content and just attached it to the landmass, and then boom, like there you go, like just push that island up against the other island. And
these islands are not islands anymore. We're just gonna make one big panacea. There you go. Enjoy. Now, but this is a good change overall. You can't disagree with that, right?
No, I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing. And what I'm saying, I'm just saying,
for us MMO cats, everybody watching this show, yeah, we're gonna go and play it, and yeah, it really doesn't matter to us because we give these games a little more time to grow anyway. We're not dropping it at level 5 and saying screw it unless it just doesn't work. But this is a really good choice, given that it's gonna be on consoles and you're gonna tap into a little bit of a different audience there. And maybe the cats that are Elder Scrolls people, but not MMO people, there was not enough engaging on those islands to keep those people. And those are the ones they really got to keep. Us MMO cats, we're going to give it a little time. We're going to level. We're going to get to the mid-teens and then make our decisions finally. And by then, we've started to see some cool open world stuff. I love this decision. It's not the ideal decision. The ideal decision would have been, let's revamp all of it, but we're days away, and that's not an option.
That's not an option. We were surprised they even did this as an option. So they've obviously, so now after the tutorial, you go straight to your Alliance's first city. They've had to do some like mob tuning and things like that. They've tuned those down for the lower level characters and things like that. Like you said, a little bit of a ramping of how the leveling curve goes all makes sense. They've got to make some adjustments. And that's sort of a way of them to sort of fix the starting area. Like I said, you can go back to the island. It was a little, I didn't exactly yet even know how to find out how to go back to the island on PTS. They might be pointing that out a little bit more, but I believe you go down to the dock or something and speak to somebody and you can get there. I'm not sure how that's going to work. Hey, is there I've been out of the loop again. I'm asking, I feel like I'm just like, a fan today. I'm like in the audience going like, burn. Do we have a beta weekend coming up or anything? Do we know? Is there one?
No, I haven't seen any emails go out for a beta weekend this weekend.
Gotcha. I wasn't sure. Do you think we're gonna get one more before launch? Probably, right?
I would be surprised if we didn't get one more before launch. It seems like ZeniMax, that's one good thing you've got to give them this. It seems like they're treating this like a beta and not a preview, because these are substantial changes, all the stuff we're talking about today. Not just this one, the other things we're going to get into. These are substantial changes to be making with less than a month to go.
Yep, that's a great one. Now
so
that
I would
one
be surprised if we didn't get at least one more.
Yeah, that one wasn't big enough. I mean, the next one here, this
Chad is saying that they already confirmed for next weekend, March 14th.
That's what I sort of thought. That's why I was asking. Oh, great, thanks, chat room. So March 14th looks like we're going to get one more confirmation for next weekend. The next change here is a big change. Changes a lot. They've added character NPC mob collision into the game.
I did not think they were going to do this at all.
I know. And this is, I believe, mostly to try and get the combat. One of the other complaints that a lot of people sort of had was that the combat felt a little floaty. It didn't feel like you were connecting with anything. You felt like you were just hitting through everything. And that is so. For PvE, they have character collision is in. And
this
they've added a little. They've added a little bit of extra camera shake as well. Those were sort of the things that they've.
Yeah, and they changed a few animations too. To make them more impactful. All in all, it creates a nice little illusion of some. I'm going to try Melee next weekend. Now, I'm going to go back and do Melee based on these changes because that was my huge gripe with it. It just felt like I'm a floating mess with a sword. I'm
going to say, so again, I immediately re-rolled and grabbed a character with a sword and board to see how this would feel.
Yeah.
Definitely helps. Totally helps. Still not great. I don't think it's
Really?
amazing. I don't think, and I mean, I don't think it's dialed into the point that you're just like, oh my God, that fixed everything. And I don't know yet what it is, but it helped a lot. It helped a lot. You're gonna find a couple little things here and there. I don't want to say minor annoyances, but they will be, because now you're gonna encounter things like blockages in doorways and things like that, like things that you're not thinking about with NPCs following you or things like that. You get one of these moments, and that's probably why they avoided some of this stuff with massive amounts of people being in areas and things like that. You're now going to bump into a lot of things.
Yeah, because whether it's a friendly or an enemy NPC, it's got collision.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. You can still run through players, obviously, but so we're not going to have that griefing.
No.
But you're right. You're going to clip on things that all of a sudden you're like, well, oh shit, really? That rock? Oh damn.
Yeah, I forgot I was doing a quest, and it was sort of an escort style quest where somebody was following me, and she was just like in a doorway, and I was like, I gotta get around you, move out of the goddamn door, like, you know, and you gotta kind of like, so there's little things like that. It really wasn't a big deal. It really was just like one of those things, but definitely a step in the right direction though. I think I think it's gonna help. I think Melee players are gonna be excited to buy it. Like I said, I don't know if it's everything. There still feels like there could still be a little bit more of a dialing in factor.
One more beta.
Well, here's what my gut tells me it is, and I don't know. I doubt they would ever do this, but here, and I'm not going to go into the technical, but I don't know if the soft targeting of the reticle, it's so large, and it's so sort of kind of sloppy that you can have your reticle even just close to a mob and you're going to hit. And that's part of why I also think it doesn't feel like you're fully always connecting on certain things, because sometimes you're not even directly kind of full on facing it in a direction that you would be hitting something, yet you're hitting something.
Yeah, we've seen like the arrow turn 90 degrees as an archer lets loose. We've seen a lot of that stuff where the character's on the move, the monster's on the move, and the arrow does this lovely Robin Hood path all the way and hits the monster.
My 2 cents here, and again, this is probably well beyond not even feasible to do, but what I actually thought as I was playing, I was like, you know what would be great? It'd be awesome if you could start out with this sort of soft target hitbox, kind of large early on in the levels, and as you progress through the game, start tightening it up on me. Like, start as start making it smaller and a little bit more precise, that I have to actually become a little bit more precise in my combat in the game when I'm fighting stuff. And I think it'd be great if it actually like kind of went with the more you played it and the more you level up, it just kind of dials in a little bit more. It's very large.
It's very large, and you want it tighter.
I do. That's really what it is, Brian.
That's what it boils down to.
But I do think this helps a lot.
You have a safe word. That's all.
I do think this is going to help a ton. I think people are really going to enjoy it. No collision, like we said, between players in PvP. That is good.
No.
You do not want that. No collision for PvP. What do you think of the PvP? Did you guys do PvP in the last one? I think we talked a little bit. You did, right? I got to do a little bit of it.
Again,
now.
I actually enjoyed it, right? And I enjoy PvP, terrible at it, but this was one I was getting into it. I liked the large-scale epicness, which, of course, is one of the main reasons that they're probably not going to be doing collision detecting in PvP, is because of the large scale that they have on this. They've talked about it, but it's unlikely. They haven't ruled it out. I'm enjoying the whole campaign stuff around. I want to be Emperor. And for a guy that's not really into PvP, for me to want to try and do that, that's quite an achievement. It's just fun.
I agree. So I've had a really limited amount of time in PvP. It was extremely fun. It's extremely chaotic.
Brian Wheeler, the lead PvP designer, actually talked about collision in PvP too. He said, having worked on games with player collision in PvP before, we found it's far more valuable to offer players larger battles with better server client performance than smaller battles that include player collision due to the hits servers and clients take when implementing such a feature. That's not to say we didn't consider it at one time, and while it's always interesting to put collision in PvP, when you're dealing with masses of players, which their PvP is, right? it becomes more of a frustration point than a tactical advantage. Speaking from personal experience, trying to set up a shield wall behind a keep door, and then watching players still find ways through it. So that's from the lead PvP designer with Brian Wheeler and the challenges there. So unlikely that we're going to see this.
Unlikely, but it's good to hear that everybody tests everything. How do you feel? Let me ask you, what's your opinion on this? This is the one thing about PvP, and I've had very, very limited time in there. And like I said, what I had was super fun. You can't even tell at this point, like especially the little time I've had, like about things like balance and anything like that is impossible for me to tell. How do you feel about the bolstering mechanic, though? I
don't like it, but I don't like a bolstering mechanic in any game, really.
I don't either. That's why, like, I say just if I go in there at level 10, just let me freaking be level 10 and get my ass kicked. Like, let that happen, or let me, like, I'm okay with that. I don't
see. I'm not okay with that, because then PvP becomes exclusively level 50 content, forcing the players that are PvP inclined to slog through PvE that they may not be interested in.
Have to lose the race, Mike Byrne. Winners and losers.
Not when you're trying to appeal to a massive audience.
That's the problem. And then you do all these like mechanics and bolstering the things that don't really work. So you artificially inflate me to make me feel like I'm kind of a 50, but I'm not. And it just doesn't really work. I've never seen it work. I've never seen a game work. Just let me go in and get my ass kicked, or I got to group up with my guild who are 50s.
You're out of your mind.
No. I say just let it be,
I'm
man.
level 14. Get my guild to tow me through PvP. Get the hell out of here.
Go back and level up, man. Come back when you're level 50.
They're not going to do that. They're not going to force me I'm primarily a PvE guy. They've created a nice PvP experience, but they're not doing anything to force me into content I don't want to play. They're not going to turn around and do that to the PvP guys and gals and say, hey, you know what? If you walk in here at level 20, you're going to get your ass smoked. But if you want to, sure, go for it. Because then it becomes exclusively 50, and you're saying, I know you bought our game because you watched PvP videos and you really want to do that. Go level to 50 first through our PvE content. By the way, we're putting buttons in to skip some of it.
Give them give lower levels objectives to do things that it doesn't necessarily maybe involve player versus player fighting, resources gathering, and upkeep on keeps and walls and crafting and all that kind of stuff. Man, the bulls.
Why? So now they can go and come on. So now they can go and harvest wood and get smoked by a 50 while they're chopping trees down.
You just told me you don't like the bolstering mechanic. You don't like it. So then so then what do you like?
But I understand why it's there. I don't have a recommended substitution to it. It's a necessary evil for the way they want to do their PvP. Same thing with Guild Wars 2.
I say let people lose. Eve does it. Eve. If I'm a low
Eve
level,
also has collision at PvP.
If I'm an Eve pilot and I'm a newbie and I don't have the skills and the ships or the guild, I can't go into certain areas of space or I'll get my ass kicked. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it. I'm more of a fan of, because then you wouldn't have to artificially try and tell people like, oh, you're not really a 50, you're not really good, but we'll kind of make you better. Like, no, stop lying to me. I am level 10. I should get my ass kicked. That's all there is to it. I should.
Go back and do more quests that you didn't want to do to begin with, so you hit the skip button to jump over
fake level
them.
50 stuff never works. I mean, tell me the bolstering mechanic worked in SWTOR. Oh, yeah.
Okay, no. Totally different scenario there. Totally different scenario there. They put in a bolstering mechanic and had no segregation, or they had a PvP stat that only level 50s could have. So not only were you bolstered, but if somebody was actually a 50 and had PvP gear, you still didn't stand a chance. This is a little different. And chat's mad at you for comparing ESO to Eve.
I'm sure they are. I'm just not a fan of bolstering. I am not saying that.
I agree.
And again,
but it's a necessary evil.
Maybe they've dialed it in. Like I said, my experience has been very low with it. It just, I've never seen it work to really, I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't like it. I like everything else they're doing in this game. I don't love the bolstering mechanic. Just let me get beat up.
Did you have an issue with it in Guild Wars 2? Because to me, those two are the comparison I would make. These are virtually identical systems.
Yeah, I didn't really like it there either. I don't really like it. I'm a fan of letting people get beat up by other people in PvP. Like that is.
No, you're the ass that runs around at 50 and won't let me turn in quests. That's what you are. It's not that you want to get killed at level 10. It's you want to smoke me at level 15.
We could have those conversations all day long. I'll do that to you, and you'll be telling that story to your friends and family for like 10 years from now. And that'll be one of the best experiences you've had, and you'll remember it forever. And then you'll wonder why that's not a good experience, because it's a visceral experience created by players. Stop giving me this
They're
fake,
not
I'm a
gonna
hero.
do it. They're not going to do it.
Bullshit.
They can't. They can't. They're trying to cater to too big an audience, which arguably was the whole problem with Elder Scrolls Online when they first announced it. What audiences is going to cater to? The biggest one, and the bolstering mechanics and necessity there.
All right, we'll agree to disagree. So the other thing that they're doing, like you said, attack animations, the impacts have been improved. I didn't actually notice on the animation side much difference, except I know that they add a little bit of camera shake on like a connection and things like that. And I know that sounds really slight, but some of those little things actually do really help dial things in and make it feel better. Some of the animations I feel like do need a little bit of help. Running's gonna feel more realistic.
We're looking at you, bow and arrow. We're looking at you.
Look at horse riding as well. Animations on the horses are a little.
Yeah. My horse running with a broken leg. I'm not sure what's going on.
Could use a little bit of help. But they're still in polish mode. So a lot of this stuff is getting fixed. Yep. I mean, they're even talking about the animations for running are getting more realistic. So they're gonna be you're gonna accelerate when approaching like max speeds, and you're gonna decelerate when stopping. So they're kind of easing in stuff like that. There's a lot of little things, but they're in that mode of just polish and put little fine tune stuff on, which means a lot.
Have you seen a developer, I don't want to say listen to their audience, because Blizz does a pretty good job listening, even if the answer is no. But I don't know if I've seen an MMO prior to release be as open to huge changes as ZeniMax has. Not only the stuff we're talking about, but if you go back in the past, when first person didn't even show the hands. Remember that whole thing?
Wow,
and then
remember that?
Because they had to add all the animations in there. It wasn't just, okay, have a set of hands there. Now the armor team had to go back and redetail all of those skins to get them more detailed. Casting animations, all of that. Now we have the, okay, you guys said our opening stuff is generic. If you want to skip it, you can. Oh, you want a collision? That's a big change, right? If that had to have been something they programmed from the bat and just said, we're going to leave it up to the audience. Because if they didn't have it yet, and they said, okay, we're going to add collision, this game would have been delayed 8 months to add that type of thing. So there's things that they've built in that they think Elder Scrolls fans might be looking for, and they want to set themselves up to be able to offer that if their audience does. I'm really impressed with the way they're handling this so far. Whether you like the game or not is totally irrelevant on this point. You have to agree that they've built a lot into the back end that we don't know about, because they're just waiting to see what do the fans want.
I agree. So I'll tell you a little story really quickly. Our producer, Dom, who produces This Week in MMO, first beta weekend, hated it. Like, just couldn't stand it. It was like just having the worst time ever, and just, talking internally, he was so angry. All of a sudden, second beta test, he's making that turn. He's all of a sudden starting to fall in love with it. All of a sudden, he starts seeing all the changes ZeniMax are making, and he literally said, he's like, they're addressing like almost all of the community's largest gripes, and he's pretty much turned the corner and absolutely like floored that. Do you remember when weren't they almost not going to put first person in at one point? Wasn't that making like it wasn't even?
They weren't going to put first person in, and then when they finally did, people bitched that there were no hands.
So, I couldn't even imagine this game being that. That was the one thing people were just like, oh, what? I played the entire game in first person, by the way.
No, I'm third person, baby.
Except I do a boss fight. If I do a boss fight or something, or PvP, obviously I don't. But if I'm on a boss fight, I don't want to lick their knees. But like, I played the entire game as first person.
Yeah, but you ran around Final Fantasy in first person, looking at cleavage.
I think it's such a better experience. You can actually see down into the tops of
Is there loose change down there? What the hell?
I urge everybody to try it. I still say that this game is going to be a tough sell for people who like MMOs that they just click through quests and don't care about any of the quest dialogue. I still think they're going to have a hard time.
I agree. I'm not totally sold on the game right now still. It's 23 days away. They have my initial money. I don't know if they have my sub yet, though. And I play an awful lot of frickin' MMOs, and I'm still unsure whether they have my sub. But I've really got to appreciate, when you look at the extensive beta surveys, they're clearly listening to those surveys and getting feedback, and they're willing to make big changes, and it appears that they're building those things in as they go, just in case the audience decides it needs this. You got to like that, whether you're a fan of the game itself or not.
The other thing I'm a little confused about, which I haven't heard much about lately, did I hear right? Did somebody tell me, might have been even you, that controller support may not be in for PC at all? Is that right?
They don't have plans for it right now, which it seems
I've been like
so
dying
odd to me.
Like I've actually been dying for them. I've been almost like every time patch notes come out on PTS, I'm like, is controller support in? Like I want to try this game with a controller, and I've tried it with XPatter a little bit, but
really
like,
odd.
Yeah, if they're coming out on console.
Given that in June it's going to be in consoles, and the menus are clear. We had an argument about that on the last show. The menu system is clearly set up for console users. XPatter can get challenging. If you're looking for a nice video, J.K. Kennedy from Gamebreaker has a nice XPatter configuration video on his YouTube channel. Check that one out. Because, XPatter can get dicey here, and he spent a lot of time mapping it out. It's the best one I've seen so far. So if you're looking for it, Gary, check that one out.
It's kind of weird because the way I'm playing Elder Scrolls Online, like I could see myself sitting back on the couch with a controller playing the game. Like
absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I don't know. I hope they add that in. I hope that that's not something that gets thrown. Be very odd that it's coming out on consoles in a couple months and they're not going to add any controller support on the PC side. It just seems very bizarre to me.
Yeah, it does seem bizarre.
I don't know what that's all about. All right, got lots more to talk about here. Let me take a moment to talk about our sponsor today for this week in ESO, and that is Warby Parker. Mr. Byrne, you are a fan of the Warby Parker as well. I know that. So let me give you a little backstory on Warby Parker. What do they do? What is this? What are you talking about, Mr. Gannon? Warby Parker makes eyeglass wear. Prescription and sunglasses, mostly prescription, but they have sunglasses as well. And I know you're thinking that, well, going to the internet to buy glasses is not something one normally does. But, hold on. I've got much to tell you about this. So it's a really cool setup. Basically, you go to warbyparker.com/gamebreaker. You're going to want to use that URL to sign up and make an account. Go over there. Use that URL. When you go over to the website, you're going to get to go and sift through and look about a bunch of different, they have all different kinds of shapes and styles, and for different head shapes, and just a lot of great, awesome, just frames to choose from. You're going to pick 5 of them. You're going to pick 5 that you think would look good on you, and even beyond that, there's even a virtual try-on thing on the website where you take a photo of yourself with your webcam. And then you try all these different pairs on right on your screen. So you get a good sense. And that's exactly what I did till I found the 5 pair that I thought I'd look good in. You choose those. And then guess what? Yeah, so that's what Warby Parker ships you what is called their home try-on kit. It is a box with 5 pair of glasses, the 5 pair that you chose in it. Mr. Burns got his as well. We both have ours. Oh, you got some nice blue ones there. I didn't pick any funky color blue ones. I should have.
I did. I picked like bold colors because I wanted to try them on.
So you get your glasses in the mail. None of these are prescription. They're all just clear lenses. And basically, you can try them on, wear them for as long as you want, wear them around the house, see how they feel, game with them, make sure that they have a good fit, make sure you think you look good in them, and you pick the pair you want. You go back on the website, you choose that pair, you tell them your prescription. For a lot of you, your prescription will be on the inside of your glasses. If not, they'll even call your optometrist if you give them the phone number. If you don't know your prescription, they'll actually just tell them the info. They'll call your optometrist and get your prescription for you. I mean, how amazing is that? And then you buy a pair. Most pair start at $95. That is frames, lenses, all the coatings, all that stuff. $95, and they are phenomenal. Like the build on them is just amazing. Bird, I've just started wearing glasses since December. You've been wearing glasses forever. I mean, how many years have you been wearing glasses?
Since I was 10, so like 22, 23 years.
So you've had quite a few pair of glasses in your lifetime already.
Just a few, yes.
I mean,
yes.
how would you rate the quality of the frame on Warby's?
Don't tell Warby, but I've dropped these and I've maybe dropped things on them, and they are right up there with the top tier. When you see $95 for glasses, you're like, oh,
you think they're gonna be,
right.
a little,
right.
Exactly. And then you get them, and
$95.
you open the arm and you feel how, like, the tension and how they're built, and you're like, holy crap, these are really good.
Yeah, that was the first thing I did, was open them up and start trying to pull them apart and crack them. I mean, you could do some heavy lifting with these guys.
So no obligation. You do not pay for shipping this to your house. They ask for a credit card. They charge like 95 cents or something to make sure you're a real person. They refund that money. They send you this box. They even send you return shipping labels so you can drop this back in the mail to them, so you don't pay any of that shipping whatsoever. Last but not least, if that wasn't cool enough, this is something I just absolutely love about Warby Parker, is for every pair of glasses that you buy, they give a pair of glasses to someone in the world in need. And they've given over 500,000 pair of glasses away so far, which I just love this. I mean, giving back in the world to people in need, just awesome. I mean, just such a company just killing it in an area, that you just wouldn't even expect. Just like a forward-thinking, fresh, new company doing it the right way. So again, no shipping to send to you, no shipping back. And on top of that, only for Gamebreaker people. This is only for Gamebreaker peeps. Go to warbyparker.com/Gamebreaker. Use that URL. You're going to get free 3-day shipping on your prescription glasses if you make a purchase. So when you should get them back to you 3 days, boom, got your prescription glasses. Love, love, love Warby Parker. Awesome company, awesome people, awesome product. warbyparker.com/Gamebreaker. I'm just gonna wear these the rest of the show because they're so cool. These are the ones that these are the ones that I'm getting. By the way, these are the Owens, and these are the ones
very sharp.
These are this is what I'm gonna wear, the matte blacks. All right, so all right, where are we? We talked about animations, we talked about all the good stuff. Those are probably the big things. I think we got most of the big stuff out of the way that they're changing. Those are the, like, oh my god, I can't believe they're fixing these things. But there's a lot of other stuff coming as well. Any other you have any, what are your main concerns right now? What's going on with ESO? You said you're still a little bit on the fence about your sub. Is it endgame?
Yeah, I'm on the
you?
fence about my sub. They've also made changes. Those were the two real big ones, but they've also made changes to the anchor events too. They've made them substantially harder, faster mob spawns inside those events, and the boss fight at the end of the Dark Anchors are substantially stronger now. We've seen lots of videos about them being able to be soloed, and people actually soloing them, so those have been amped up. But to give solo players an option for that type of thing, they've now added in, I hate to say it, but it's a rift. It's a rift from Rift, where it's a smaller event, sky opens up, and a few mobs pop down, and those can be soloed now. So they've added that content to still give you the solo experience and made the Dark Anchor substantially harder. So there's a lot going on in this patch. My sub is still on the fence because I know at Endgame, or Elder Game, or Veteran Game, whatever the frick you want to call it anymore, the game is substantially PvP focused, and I don't know if there's going to be enough PvE there to keep me wanting to pay every month. That's where I stand. The whole raids, but not really raids, and it's still so many question marks around that once I get there, that's when I'm going to have to make my decision.
Where are we at?
That's biggie for me.
Have you been following? I don't know what PTS players are allowed to. How far? I have not seen any of that high end level content yet,
right,
as myself, either on PTS. I think that's what people are waiting for. PvP seems fun. I bitched about the bolstering mechanic,
Agreed,
and I still will, but it does seem fun. You know what I really like about the PvP as well? Like, I like the way they laid out the keeps and the map,
yeah,
and especially with fast travel. I gotta say, running back if you die is a bitch, and people are complaining. But it does. But think about this. That's actually kind of partially the beauty of how they've set it up, I think, especially with the connection. So if you guys have not seen it, you have if your guild, like, if your faction owns a keep, they have to own the adjacent keep to have a line of fast travel between the two open. That's going to come into some really interesting strategies, I think, as far as like trying to sneak attack and move in on keeps that are like behind enemy lines and breaking down fast travel and things like that before going for just, the one on the edge of bordering your sort of faction's border and things like that nature. I could see that really becoming a big deal.
It's also a nice way of forcing a timer without having a freaking timer. right?
Yes.
Because now you can't, the graveyard isn't 15 paces behind you, so every time somebody dies, they're immediately back into the fray. If they haven't been creative about taking the keeps, they might have a long walk ahead of them, and by that point, the battle's over for whatever keep. It's a nice way of saying we will get a winner here, and it will happen shortly, but we're not actually going to put a clock here. So very, very creative.
What do you think of the size of the PvP zone? It's
ridiculously
massive.
Big. Yeah.
It feels like it feels like an entire world in and of itself.
It does.
And there's quests and there's things to do and there's people to talk to and there's like towns and keeps and there's so much to do in there. I think I only scratched the surface. I'm such a geek. You know what I even like? You know what really like totally like got me going? Dynamic weather.
What got your juices flowing, Gary?
Dynamic weather in PvP. I was kind of amazed. Well, it's because I kind of just assumed that there wouldn't be something that they would want to normally throw in there due to like, you know, just to keep performance levels high and things like that. You've got like tons of people fighting on screen. Like, do you want to add? And I was just like hanging out in town and all of a sudden it started like thunderstorming and I was like, oh shit, there's even dynamic weather in here. This is great. Like it feels like the rest. Well, I like it because it feels like the rest of the Elder Scrolls world. Like even though you're zoning in, it doesn't feel like you're like going off to some foreign area,
right?
Land that's
and then Gary was promptly killed because he was staring at the sky.
I was staring at the beautiful
Somebody
drops
came
of
upon
water.
him in game, and he was just like this.
The run does suck though. I don't know. I kind of like this. I kind of like the suck run though. Like it's just like, man, you don't want to because when you get back after you have to do that 2 or 3 times.
Well, that's a weird sentence.
You don't like the suck run? I like the suck run. Because when you get back, but when you get back, you're like, man, I don't want to die again, and you've got like a little bit of fear in you. And
yeah, there's
like,
a little bit of consequence,
and we need that. Thank you.
Yes, I agree.
You need it. You need it. I mean, you get rezzed by people. I actually didn't get rezzed. I sat there for
as long as they have soul stones. So there's other options. I like it. It sucks to walk. Deal with it.
I sat there for a full 10 minutes for the timer, hoping that someone else would res me. Not one person rezzed me. Dicks. MMO players.
I wouldn't res you either.
Look at this dead dude laying on the ground. Screw him. We don't know him. No.
Doesn't matter. That's the dude that does nothing but stare at the weather. Just leave him there.
The trebuchet took him out while he was looking at the rainbow. The double rainbow.
It's a double rainbow.
I definitely can't wait to see the high-end adventure zone stuff, but
yeah.
I'm still super excited about this game.
You have been for a while, and I'm still like I ask you to put your thumb on what it is that you're excited about, and it's like it just seems like there's 900 small things that you're liking that are making one big excitement here.
I love RPGs. That is like kind of like my genre of choice.
Right.
If I could pick a game, it would be an RPG. That's what made me initially fall in love with MMORPGs. I played RPGs before that. Found the MMORPG, started playing that with like tens of thousands of people. Love that. And I feel like that the RPG element in MMOs has sort of drifted off in recent years and hasn't really become a cool thing. To me, I think MMOs started becoming, like I call them, feel-good slot machines of like I could almost break down some of the mechanics to Farmville. And like you're just doing these repetitive motions with clicking with your fingers and your mouse over and over and over. And there's not a whole lot of skill involved. Nobody cares about the story. You just click through it. You just click through this. You kill 10 of this. And in recent years, it's just become really mundane to me. I like that Elder Scrolls, like I find the stories and the quests actually really interesting. And I think for players who take the time to stop, listen to even the side stuff and listen to what they're talking about, the experience is just so much more rich.
And make sure you get your ass out there and explore, because if you don't, you're missing stuff. That's
really interesting. Explain that to people, because I don't think a lot of people know how much stuff there is like that.
Even on the starting islands, and I know we alluded to this in a previous show, but even on the starting islands that you can now skip, there's small things that if you don't look around, if you don't talk to NPCs that don't have an exclamation point above their head, you're going to miss things. Like the one we talked about was the treasure hunt, which starts in a bottle that's on the shore that isn't by a quest hub or anything. You have to be walking around and go and find it, and it starts a really cool quest that isn't easy. It gives you a treasure location with 4 or 5 different hints on which directions to go, and there's actually thought involved to figure it out. It's not a gimme quest. If you're not exploring, even on the starter islands, you're not going to find that. There's no quest hub leading you to that point, and you see a lot of that throughout the island. Not to mention that the shards are, who knows where, entice you to go and explore to get those, so that you don't miss those too. So keep your heads up.
Keep your heads up.
Keep your heads up.
I think you and I both agree still. We talk about it week after week, but the grouping thing is still a little odd to me.
Yeah,
I have to admit that I haven't
guilds
done
are worse.
So
guilds
tell me about it, because I have
right
I have not had the experience. I've had a little less time to play, so I have not been able to do much of that. What's going on?
Yeah, it's pretty broken. I mean, there's not much to say about it.
Really?
Yeah. Besides joining the guild, actually having functionality, and it's not good right now. And maybe some chat people, if you guys agree, throw it up there. I was not happy with the ability to first set up a guild, then invite people to the guild in a quick fashion. Imagine the grouping challenges that we had with just the two of us, right? As far as getting into a group together, not doing content together, but just getting into the group, and then compound that across 50 people that want to join your guild.
Ooh.
Yeah, the guilds are a little rough right now.
I mean, does it seem like something that can be? Does it seem like something that can be ironed out between now and launch?
Most of it's interface issues. Most of it's interfacing and menuing and UI related. So I'm hopeful that they can get some of that stuff smoothed out. That's just a small gripe of mine, but Gamebreaker Nation, that's going to be a big guild.
It's going to be huge. Yeah,
there's going to be a lot of people in there, and the system doesn't make it really easy to work with a lot of people.
Have you gotten to dig into the crafting at all?
I did not. I kind of avoided crafting, but I have watched videos about it. I do like the aspect that you're going to be able to craft best-in-slot gear, and crafters will be the ones that can take your gear and upgrade it for you. So it seems like at least they're making crafting meaningful, even at endgame. But I didn't get a chance to play around with it at all. Did you?
So I've started to making a point to try and get into it a little bit more and really get it. I'm not a crafter. I usually don't enjoy crafting whatsoever. I kind of find it highly addictive, and it's made me now. I'm poor. I'm completely poor in the game because now I won't sell anything to vendors because I'm just breaking everything down. I think for a lot of you out there, next beta test, you might want to try that. Even though it's a beta test, I think it makes a lot more sense to just break everything down. Break it all down into components, learn it, start leveling up your crafting, because you can very quickly early on start making worthwhile gear for yourself and for your friends. And it's going to be huge, I think, in this game, because I don't know about you, but I mean, this is sort of like, some people are confused by this, but I don't know how you feel about it, but a lot of the quests you'll go on, the quest reward won't be something you can even use.
Right.
And some people are frustrated by that because it's like, oh man, I did this whole thing and you gave me this piece of heavy armor and I'm a mage and But at the same time, you can go break that down and utilize some of those materials and other materials that you're finding to then go make stuff that's for your class. And I think it's going to be, I don't know, like I'm starting
at post level, because post level 10 value.
Post level 10, I'm having trouble finding like naturally like a full set of armor and weapons that's for my level. Like I'm gonna have to start crafting it or having like friends do it.
I actually like that. It creates value to something that in most MMOs would have no value. When you pick up the heavy armor and you're decided you're gonna light armor it for your mage and level that up, it creates a value for that. And then not only that, but the people that are actually crafting at max, they can make best in slot stuff. They can upgrade your gear. They're still relevant at max level and not, oh, okay, you've reached max level. Now it's go raid or go PvP or go home.
Go raid or go home.
Go raid or go home.
Go PvP with no bolster or go home, burn, you Care Bear.
Care Bear, I knew it was coming, you son of a...
Those are the big changes that are coming. So lots of big changes, and I gotta say, man, hats off to the ZeniMax team for actually listening. Because I gotta say, I'm still kind of floored that the islands are going away. So great on that. So it'd be interesting to see how everybody
100% agree.
I think most people out there, when you get into the next beta test next weekend on the 14th, most of you, I'm assuming that the build you're going to play is the build that's on the PTS currently or something close to it. with the starting island changes and all of that, and the collision, I'm sure that that's probably what you're going to be testing. So it's going to be interesting to hear what everybody thinks of the game after that. GameBreakerNation.com. That is where you're going to want to go to sign up for the Gamebreaker Nation Guild.
Yep.
I am sure there is going to be a very, very, very large amount of Elder Scrolls players in the Gamebreaker Nation. So that's where we'll all be playing. So go over to GameBreakerNation.com. And like I said at the top of the show, last up here, if you have not pre-ordered Elder Scrolls Online, time is running out for you to save a couple of bucks. Offergb.com/ESO. Go to that. Check it out. We've got 20% off. We've got a coupon code there. Last I checked this morning, I believe the code that we have available is expiring in 3 days, I believe. So you don't have much time left to save 20% off, which is a lot. It's like 15 or 16 bucks, somewhere around that range, especially depending on which version you're going to buy. That's where I made my purchase. So save 20%. Get it in there. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Mike Byrne. Follow him on the Twitter at MagicMan, MIGICKMANN1. And hosting a lot of other shows these days. Unicorn Duck Shadow Puppet, The Wildstar Show, now on Wednesdays.
Wednesdays 4 Pacific.
At 4 Pacific, hosting that. TWIMMO. A few more probably to pop up here and there that you're going to start working on. We got Gamebreaker, Legendary, all that shit. So he's all over the place.
XRV
Basically,
and maybe a game we talked about today sometime shortly soon here. Maybe soonish TM.
Possibly TM. Mike Byrne taking over the world. All right, follow me on Twitter, Gary Gannon. And that's it. We'll see you next week for This Week in MMO. Again, GoFundMe.com/Gamebreaker. If you like anything we've ever done, please consider a donation to Gamebreaker to help us keep the doors open. GoFundMe.com/Gamebreaker. Thanks so much, guys. Have a fantastic weekend, and we'll see you next week.